Welcome to Season 3 of Yoga Corner Chats, where we dive deep into the wisdom of purpose-driven women who are rewriting life's rulebook. I'm your host, Shelby Phoenix, and I'm thrilled to embark on this transformative journey with you. This season, we're breaking free from the ordinary, celebrating the extraordinary, and embracing the unapologetic pursuit of authenticity. Join us as we explore stories of resilience, self-discovery, and the pursuit of an uncharted path. Our conversations are more heart-centered than ever, delving into the core of what it means to lead a life in alignment with your values. We're shattering societal norms one episode at a time and redefining success on our terms. Each week, we'll be joined by incredible women, entrepreneurs, yoga teachers, wellness warriors, and more, who are daring to be different and inspiring us to do the same. Get ready for an abundance of inspiration, empowerment, and unfiltered authenticity. So if you're ready to trade conformity for creativity, perfectionism for purpose, and self-doubt for self-love, you're in the right place. Subscribe now and join our vibrant community of listeners who are choosing to live life authentically. Yoga Corner Chats is more than just a podcast. It's a journey. Let's embark on this path together towards a life that aligns with our deepest values. Are you ready? Roll out your mat, take a deep breath, and let's dive in. Press play and let the transformation begin. Welcome to Yoga Corner Chats, where real women, real conversations, and real transformation happen. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Yoga Corner Chats. My name is Shelby Phoenix. I'm your host. Today, I am so excited to introduce SJ from Smart Circles. And today we're going to be talking about finding your flow. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce SJ. Hello, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
So excited. All right. So before we dive in, I love to guide us and our listeners through a couple of deep breaths. Is that all right with you?
For sure.
All right. And anyone who's listening, I invite you to join us. So if you're sitting down, settle into your seat. If you're standing, maybe bring your attention down to your feet. Lengthen your spine without trying to force perfect posture and let your shoulders fall down your back. Begin to inhale through your nose, fill your belly. Expand your rib cage and fill all the way up to your collarbone. And then a big exhale out. Push all the air out with your belly. 2 more like that. Inhale, belly, rib cage, collarbone. Push it all out. Last one, biggest breath of the day, all the way down to the belly. And then let it go. Your eyes are closed. Gently open them and come back into this space. So, SJ, you shared with me that you have put a lot of thought into the name of your business, Smart Circles. So, I was hoping that you could start by introducing yourself to the audience, how you ventured into hula hooping, and what does Smart Circles mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Smart Circles, the S and the M stand for Sarah Mertzik, which are my initials. And then art being an all-encompassing form of expression. And then circles, the hula hoop, yes, being a circle, but also the spirals, circles, just being a very powerful force within energy and humans and our life and the world and the universe. And smart, because I do feel like I'm a smart cookie, so it kind of all gets put together. And it gives a little bit of freedom too to incorporate all different forms of art and expression, not just the hula hoop, but community and just people and all that stuff. I got into hula hooping about 20 years ago. A friend of a friend had a hoop. I couldn't stop playing with it, so I bought myself a couple and dove right in, being the person that I am. I wanted to figure out how to make them and create them, and then kept sharing them with everyone. And it was just a continuous flow of joy that I kept passing on back and forth. Then this last year, I did a lot of self-reflection and really diving into myself. And I noticed that there was a lot of anger and jealousy popping up in situations, which wasn't cool because that wasn't the talk that I was talking, but I was walking that walk.
Yeah.
And that was not okay with me. I wasn't being fulfilled. So I took a chance on myself and ventured into sharing the hula hoop in all aspects and movement and trying to match what made me tick in the qualities that I have and combining those and sharing them with people. So I took a course to become an instructor.
Oh,
And yeah, thanks. Yeah, and I'm really just taking a chance on myself right now, hoping that what my fibers and what the gifts that I have, using them to their full potential to see where it goes, and then sharing that with other people. And hopefully there's a lot more people like me out there that can benefit from my experiences. So yeah, here I am. I'm just a couple months into it. So I'm all very baby brand new, which is so raw and beautiful. And I need to focus on that. I want everyone to like love themselves. You know, when you watch like a child play or a dog play, and they're just so innocent. And I think we need to love ourselves in that way. So
yeah.
yeah, so here I am being brave and
Congratulations.
thanks, man. Yeah.
That's so exciting. So we met at an event at a local yoga studio. And okay, so so it was a little like craft fair festival thing, right? Everybody, all the businesses had their tents, and I was especially attracted to your vibe because A, the colorful hula hoops, B, you had art spread like all around your space. And see, I love hula hooping too. And I was kind of introduced to hula hooping when I used to go to festivals in my younger days. And like, there's a lot of hippies at festivals hula hooping. And I loved like hula hooping to music and like learning the different kind of like tricks and how you do kind of like get into like the present moment when you like really get into it. So for those who like maybe only have seen hula hoops like made for children or like don't really know what we're talking about, what is like hula hooping all about, and what is your like business all about?
Well, hula hooping to me is shutting the outside world off and playing and moving. Adult size hula hoops, I mean, every hula hoop is beautiful in its own way, but I specialize in adult size hula hoops, so adults can play. Yeah, well, expression is a form of art. No two people can hula hoop the same way, and there's a lot of comparing going on there. I love to see what people do with a hula hoop. There's a lot of tricks that you can do, combining one to the other, trusting in the momentum, listening to the music. Basically, you know, that little monkey in your brain, it lets that monkey play with something so I can really truly be me.
Yeah.
Quiet the outside world. I'm learning about myself that ironically I'm kind of afraid to be seen, which holds a lot of people back. And the hula hoop's kind of like my Dumbo feather, if you will. It gives me like a magical power to really just feel comfortable. So yeah, combining that with art, the colors and making them, I get a lot of joy. I name every hula hoop. They all have a name. They all have a personality. And I hope that that can like latch on to someone so that magic's created. But yeah, finding your flow is just trusting yourself, trusting yourself to do what feels right and not what you feel like you should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you apply flow to your life?
Applying flow to my life is practice. As I mentioned, practice makes habits. Practice does not make perfection. I believe that no one should be achieving for perfection, because then what else is there really? And who's making that? Like, who defines perfection? So throw that all away and just practice. And then what works, keep doing. And what doesn't work, try something else. So it's just a really like an exploratory tool. I mean, kids can like twirl it, adults, there's off body moves, you can just spin it. There's so much you can do besides just waist hooping.
Right.
I know when you came up to the festival, I saw you at the corner of my eye. I was like, yeah, she's feeling it. She's feeling it. But just providing an area where people can feel comfortable, let down their guard, and just pay attention to them, their like hearts in the hoop, really, and like quiet out the brain.
I think this kind of is like universal to a lot of things, but I know it's true for art and yoga, and I'm sure it's true for hooping. What would you say to someone who came up to you and they're like, oh, that looks like so much fun, but I am not in shape. It looks too hard. Whatever, the thing is. What would you say to someone who was feeling like that resistance or
Say that
self-conscious?
if they want to do it, they can. If they're making up excuses, and that's something, to process through to get to that point. But that was like kind of a moment. I mean, I said I've been hooping for years at festivals and this and that, and always worried about kind of like what my family would think, what the outside world would think, being like, a hippie or whatever, this and that, not being taken seriously. But it is a serious matter because it's endorphins and it's movement and it's exercise. And so if someone's not in shape, I mean, there's so many things that you don't compare. In my classes, rules are don't compare yourself and don't say the word can't.
Yeah.
Because what you say is so connected to how your brain interpreting that. So I would see what, have them pick a hoop, whatever one makes them smile, and then just, start slow. You kind of work with the person to see where their abilities are. And once you get that, like someone's eagerness and you like key in on that and like keep doing that, doesn't that feel great? So yeah, anyone can hoop no matter what physical condition you're in. If you're in a wheelchair, there's hand hooping. There's so many different, and because it is a piece of art, I mean, you can like literally just like do this and it's just mesmerizing in beauty because the beauty comes from within. The hoop is just like a tool to help you manifest and facilitate that to show to the world. But
yeah. And I feel like it's like moving energy too, like it almost like can put you in a trance and like kind of change your state of mind.
Absolutely. Energy creates energy. So I mean, if you think about it, like you said, the hoop is actually like physically moving around you. You've got energy, you're combining these energies, the world's spinning, there's all this stuff going around, and then it all just kind of meshes together instead of bumping off of each other. So like all those edges that we've made within our minds and our hearts and like just in life, the constructs of society, those kind of soften as you hoop and it becomes a circle instead of like a rigid square shape or whatnot.
Right. And also when someone's hula hooping, like it attracts people are like, what are you doing? Oh, that looks fun. Like I need to ask you questions. Like, oh, how'd you do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and so I spent years with people. Oh, I wish I could do that. I can't do that, and I kind of felt like a schmuck because I'm like, yes, you can, and I don't ever like. It was funny because at first I was like, I'm not teaching adults because their adults are like, I can't do that, and kids are like, look what I can do. So, but then that's part of the reason why I was so blessed that that course. It's only offered once a year, and it worked out in my life where I was able to take it, but so that I can help people. I don't want people to feel intimidated. I want people to feel like they belong. So it's a great, now that I can help show them, like, yeah, absolutely. You want to learn? I got you under my wing. Let's do this. We'll fly together.
Connect to your inner child and like be light and playful, right? Like it's not serious. It's what you make out of it.
Yeah. So it's really whole body health right there. Your mental mind is doing its thing while your body is moving it. Even if you're dropping it, like, is hooping good? Yes, you're picking it up. You're, you're laughing. Like, you can't hoop and not smile, like, no matter what. And even if you're not smiling, everyone around you is definitely smiling. And then that will just be contagious. So,
can you explain the idea of colorful wellness? and the importance of like rediscovering your inner child through hula hooping with smart circles?
Yeah, colorful wellness to me is loving every single piece of yourself. And that's like the gray pieces and the like murky orange pieces and all those colors that we don't usually celebrate as much as I don't the normal or whatever, but all the colors of yourself, even the parts of you that you might be on your like want to improve list, like you need to love those entirely. Um, it's just so important to not be hard on yourself and to treat yourself with dignity and purpose and respect. So yeah, so colorful wellness, actually, Janelle, I know she was on here before. I was doing some work with her and I said that describing my business and she's loved it. And since then I've like kind of held on to it as my little tagline. But colorful wellness to me is yes, loving all of yourself, loving all the parts of yourself, head to toe, inside and outside, and letting those shine to the world to see and not holding any of them back. The like the full spectrum out there. I believe that is what the hula hoop has done for me. And it's very colorful as well. So it kind of all pulls together.
Yeah. I'm thinking about Bob Ross. I used to I used to be an art teacher, so I always had like a collection of Bob Ross stuff. Kids always gave me Bob Ross stuff. And there was one quote that I always remember and I love, and it reminds me of what you just said. And it's like, without darkness, there is no light. Like you have to have the contrast. And even as I'm looking at your hoops behind you, right? Like some of the neon colors you wouldn't even be able to see without like the darkness of the black, right? And it like applies to life and to everything that we do. We have to have both.
Yes. Yeah.
So, speaking of that, do you have any advice for individuals who maybe are trying to explore self-love or, figuring out how to feel good about all these different parts of themselves?
Ooh, change your focus. Change your focus.
I love this. So how do you think that, or how have you applied this in your life, or how do you think someone else could apply that in their life?
I would say don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of yourself. Really go beyond your thoughts, go beyond your emotions, and really just pull back into. I try to imagine like looking down on myself and patting myself on the back a lot. You know, yeah, I would say quiet the voices in your head, let things flow through you. Don't get stuck on something. If you realize you keep coming back to something, figure out how you got there. Sometimes you have to take a step or two back so you can start to get in the right direction. So if your brain starts going haywire, pull back, don't be mean to yourself, figure out what's happening, and then look at the evidence. I mean, I'll get caught up in things being like, but I'm like, but actually none of that is true. You're just scared of it. So, and that's kind of like the hula hoop too. I mean, you can sit there and work one trick over and over and over, but then all of a sudden, like Bob Ross, happy little mistakes, all these other things come out. So like, let yourself be open to that. Don't be so set on your outcomes that if stuff's not working, then you lose like all of this great progress and learning along the way. I believe every experience that we have is, we don't know the meaning of it, but it's meant for us. So to live it fully, accept it, and once it's done, just keep having more, and don't get set on one thing. To find your flow, you got to keep moving. You can't just be stagnant, and then there's that whole like friction for momentum. Like if everything was just easy and it worked, then you'd just be like in that easy world. I mean, you'd just be spinning. You wouldn't be like,
right.
So, yeah.
So it seems like the focus is like shifting from like the outcome to the process, or like the journey or the story.
Absolutely. And not missing out on the journey or the story, because your brain is so set on like what's going to happen in the end.
Yeah.
Like I'll have an event and I'll be like, in 2 hours, I'm done. Okay. But what about like for those 2 hours? Like how many moments of joy can I have? How much, like you gotta live it. You can't just wish it all away.
Yeah. My grandmother used to say, I'd be like, I can't wait for whatever in the future or for this to end. And she'd be like, don't you wish my life away?
Right. Yes, exactly.
Do you have any personal stories or experiences that kind of show how hula hooping has been transformative for you?
I would say my whole life is kind of the example right now. When I was really, I said before, I was like feeling a lot of anger and jealousy and frustration and unfulfilled with the path that I had put my life on. I have a daughter. She's now 24. So it was time for me to really be the person that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in reflecting upon my life and everything, the hula hoop has always been there. There's been a lot of ups and downs. A lot of things have come and gone in the last 20 years. I am sober now for 5 years.
Congratulations.
So it was just, thank you. It's just so interesting that the hula hoop has always been there. And then every now and then when I would get brave enough to bring the hula hoop out, somebody from my past would have the connection, like, oh, I still have mine, or I remember. And it kind of made me feel like I wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
It was a reminder of how far I've come. And even with my progress on tricks, it might take a year or two, but something that was really hard before, now I can do second nature. So it's very reflective on my life. It's bold. It's out there. You can't like tuck it in your pocket. Like, hello, here I am. And people weren't making fun of me the whole time. They were actually digging it. So yeah, it's kind of like my badge of courage, if you will. My reminder that if you just do you, or if I just do me, then that's what people remember. People don't necessarily remember all the bad crap like that I think they do, because that's what's stuck in my head. But there's all these other good parts. Yeah, the hula hoop to me is just a reminder of the progress I've made, the potential of what's ahead of me. And there it is, all just circling around.
Just literally gonna say that.
And the stories people tell you about a hula hoop from, I mean, you mentioned your grandmother, but people will come up to you and everyone's got a story about a hula hoop. They remember this, they remember that. This is like, and it's just so, it's so great. It triggers a lot of things for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know I have some really great memories around hula hoops, which like some people might think is kind of weird, but like when I have been hula hooping, I've been around good people and good places and been having a good time. Like, so that's what I think of when I see or play with hula hoops.
Yeah.
How can our listeners go about creating or participating in similar supportive communities like the one that you are creating?
Well, they're welcome to join my community or build other communities so we can all like bubble around and make this gorgeous little mandala, if you will, of just communities.
I love that visual.
All you gotta do is stand up and start smiling and moving. I mean, if you want to purchase one of my hoops, absolutely. We've got vendor events. You can reach out to me. I buy all my stuff. For my beginner hoops, I buy them all like Home Depot, Lowe's, PE piping, and make them all. So I mean, that's what I did. I got really into the craft of it all outside of just the actual hooping of it, but creating it. So yeah, I mean, the internet, friends, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, the first step is to just stand up and go.
I feel like when you're picking out a hula hoop to buy for yourself, especially the handmade hula hoops, it's like a wand from Harry Potter. Like it has to have the right weight and the right diameter, and like how does it make me feel, and the colors.
Yes.
Like, this is my hoop. It was made for me.
Yes. And like then that's why there's names on them too. Like I just imagine and hope that the person connects with that hoop. It's like prom dress shopping sometimes. Like when I'm like, how about this one? How about this one? Try it on. And it is, you have to find that connection, like whatever works.
Oh, I love that. Can you share a little bit more details about what folks could expect from Smart Circles, how they can connect with you, how they can access your services, maybe any events you're at in the upcoming weeks?
For sure. I'll be at the Iron Haunted Cactus next weekend. I believe it's the 21st. It's a Saturday. I'll be there. And at all vendor events, I always have hoops for everyone to play with. I usually, if anyone wants to learn, there's been a lot of people who are like, oh, I can't hoop. And I'm like you said, do you want to? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And, there's pictures and friends just going nuts. I'm doing the Kittery markets on Sundays here in Maine, and that is so much fun. They have a scavenger hunt, and it's just so great to be around so many like local people with local products. It's just a really good vibe. You can find me on social media. Definitely connect with me through any social medias. I will be in Exeter. There's a chartered water school. Coastal Waters Chartered School, I'm sorry. They're having a huge fall fest this Saturday. So that'll be super fun. Up in Maine in November on the 4th or the 6th, whatever that Saturday is, I'll be up at Main Street. There's a blackout tea dance glow party there. Whoa. If you want to see me performing. So yeah. But right now I would say phone a friend, smoke signals, mental telepathy, social media. Those are your best ways to connect with me. Reach out for sure. I've got a lot of events coming up. Yeah.
Your social media.
Yeah. Fridays, I do teach at the community center in Kittery.
Oh, cool.
Class right now, which is so fun. You can expect to feel good about yourself after that, to maybe make a friend or two, and to have a lot going on in your mind that you're going to want to go home and practice.
Yes, and I'll make sure that everything anyone needs to know to find you is in the show notes of this episode. Perfect. I want to send you gratitude for taking the time to be a guest on Yoga Corner Chats, for sharing about your business and your life story, and for building a community in our local area. So much thanks.
Yeah, well, right back at you, Shelby. So much gratitude and thankfulness and inspiring. You were one of the first people that actually I felt like were like, oh my gosh, like, look at you. And I was like, yeah, right, look at me. So thank you for having a spot for women who are a little bit, jazzy around the corners, that are really just trying to do what they feel like they need to do to help the world make a better place.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, friends. We will see you next time on Yoga Corner Chats. Bye. And there you have it. We've dived deep into the world of color, joy, and transformative play with the incredible SJ from Smart Circles. We hope you enjoyed this episode and that it has sparked imagination and nudged you to embrace your inner child and rekindle the magic of finding your flow. If you're ready for more vibrant discussions and empowering stories, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share Yoga Corner Chats. Your support keeps the positive energy flowing. Stay tuned for our next episode as we continue exploring the diverse realms of wellness with amazing guests. Until then, keep embracing your unique journey, finding joy in the little moments, and letting your inner light shine bright. Thank you for joining us on this colorful adventure. Chat soon.